It's very nice to see you. I have something very important to talk to you about, and I think you'll find it very interesting. So let's talk about it. Well, hello, Live Leak, YouTube, Pocket Live, and all those other awesome places we upload videos to. Something happened on January 6th on Wikileaks Twitter. Something very strange. Almost a game of sorts. And to those intellectual of us, we enjoy these types of games that we find on the internet. Make us use our intelligence and our technical abilities to seek out solutions to these suggestions made. And in the past, I've reported some of these conspiracy theories, some other interesting happen-goings here on Motorcycles Vancouver. But today, I'm going to break it all apart for you and explain why Hilary Clinton is really at the core of these latest Vault7 Wikileaks. So let's take a look at this. So starting on February 4th, Wikileaks released a Vault7. What is Vault7? And let me just say that some of us still do believe and feel that Julian Assange has been compromised and was missing for almost 2.5 months through October, November, and December. There's lots of videos about the strange TV interviews which had video editing and photoshopping, the lack of his visual appearances at the embassy, the police raid on the embassy where he was staying, several other strange oddities. But it's almost like they're trying to hook our interest again by fishing us into something interesting. I was speaking very recently to my wife again about the Pizzagate conspiracies and all the things associated with that. And ultimately, Anthony Weiner is about to go down very heavily for child pornography and other assorted child abuse charges. These charges were dropped by the New York Police Department from above, mostly due to his wife's connection to the Hillary Clinton campaign and their foundations. And through Anthony Weiner's wife's support, he was able to convince the powers to be to push the case aside and leave it alone. Now, this angered the New York Police Department very heavily because they had evidence from his laptop of both child pornography but also photos of children which he was actively engaging with and whose parents were actively bringing over to see him. So these are some of those suggested child sex rings that people speak to. Now, just recently, in the last 2 weeks, over 430 people were arrested here in the United States, and hundreds more overseas. Just last week, they rescued 38 girls in one hotel room in an African sex trade, which has actually been linked to the Hillary Clinton Foundation. One of the 9 adults that were arrested, the priest, actually a priest that worked closely with the young girl foundations in Africa, that recently the young lady who was investigating child sex trafficking had made links to the Hillary Clinton Foundation in Africa, and then she was very quickly suicided, as they say in the industry. So now that Hillary Clinton isn't in power anymore, the New York Police Department and the FBI are reopening all these files, which was taken from the New York Police Department, including the hard drive, which confirmed a lot of those 650,000 leaked emails, as Anthony Weiner was directly communicating to and from that email server. So now that you've got some history on what's going on right now, and how some of this might relate to the recent situations, including the recent arrests and breakdowns in the political parties, the recent defunding and firing of Hillary Clinton's foundations. On February 4th, Wikileaks released a post called "What Is?" #Vault7. Now, this is actually a photo of the seed bank. Now, the seed bank is a very interesting place. It's supposed to be public. Now, this is the information about the seed bank here. It's in Norway. And what they've done is they've actually dug into the mountain below the permafrost layer. So once the facility was built, they only had to reduce the temperature by 12 more degrees to keep it at a standard negative temperature. And so they're able to keep it fluctuate between -18 and -3, which is incredible. It's the negative temperature, the ambient temperature is -3, and they bring it down to -18. Now, what's really interesting, public art. They put some reflective panels on it. This is the public art. Okay, so a lot of people go and to go and visit the seed bank and actually, 300 countries in the world all donate their seeds to this bank. The idea is that if there was ever a collapse in the world agriculture industry, a lot of seeds that are no longer used are still here. For example, there's much heartier, better tasting wheat that's available, but a lot of the farmers, while they would rather grow that wheat, they choose to grow a higher yielding wheat. And so they actually are very motivated to send their own seeds for their own traditional wheats and different strains to the seed bank. So this is a very good thing. But in a sense, let's think of this as what does this mean from a large scale, from a big picture? It's a contingency plan for Earth, right? This is a contingency plan for humanity. It's not one country, it's all countries. It's very interesting. Keep that in mind. Now, later that day, they released a post called Where is Vault7? Now, this one I wasn't familiar with. Now, I actually looked closely. If you look, these are bags and boxes of art. And it's actually gold and bullion. And I did a reverse Google image search, and I was able to find exactly what this was. And upon looking at this article here, the second picture tweeted, it's asked, where is Vault7? Now remember, Vault7 might not literally be the seed bank. It might not necessarily be a physical place. It's a concept at this point. They're trying to teach us about a world contingency. This is information which is a contingency plan for everybody. This photo actually shows the Nazi gold stores in the Merkers salt mine. Now you can find a lot of this information referred to in this Wikipedia article here. Now, what was really interesting is the Nazis had stolen a lot of priceless art and lots of gold. And what happened was this was actually found by the Third Army, the Frankfurt Third Army. So when they cut the Soviets out of the ability to get access to this mine where they had been storing all this gold, the U.S. forces moved in and they had found this huge cache of incredible amounts of money. We're talking, basically everything the Nazis had raped and pillaged in the area. It's incredible. So there was treasures, there was jewelry, there was art, there were statues, but it was priceless amounts of treasure and gold. Just one of these bags are just all full of gold alone, So what ended up happening is it actually all disappeared. So the whereabouts of the Nazi gold disappeared in the European bank institution. It's become the subject of several books. A civil suit was brought against California, against the Vatican Bank, and the Franciscan Order. and other defendants, the suit against the Vatican Bank did not claim the gold was in possession and had since been dismissed. So this is very... it's incredible, right? So this whole thing is all conspiratorial. But the story is, what they want us to understand is that this gold was stolen by military people, by dictators. And then that gold was received by the American military, and then poof, it disappeared. Billions and billions and billions of dollars, poof. And there's recent things in Afghanistan where they would send over as much as $4 billion, and as it was getting off the plane, $2.2 billion to go missing. And it's all part of this black military industrial complex. Which brings us to the next tweet, which is very interesting. Because, you know, there's a very recent story of gold going missing. You know, the whole Gaddafi dictatorship. The whole Gaddafi toppling, which was very motivated by certain groups. It was politically motivated. Hilary Clinton, for example, through the leaked emails, we have found out that she was very much for and encouraging this overthrowing of the Gaddafi government. Now that means there might be actually more than meets the eye to hear. And as we look a little deeper into these Wikipedia posts, we might find out what they're really suggesting here by showing us this World War II vault of stolen Nazi gold, which, poof, disappeared. Which, we could go into speculation. There's actually a lot of speculation that this gold was underneath Building 7. That this gold was actually being stored underneath the World Trade Centers and underneath Building 7. And that this gold would have been far too difficult to move all at once. And so by toppling the buildings, they were able to bring construction crews in and move the gold out with heavy equipment. You know, it would take a lot more than 70 minutes to move all this gold out of some buildings underneath New York. It's just crazy, crazy stuff to think about. Now the next post by Wikileaks, which is relevant to this case, is when is Vault 67? Now this is a prototype engine which is used by most militaries, by everyone, ultimately except for the Chinese. Now the Chinese have a very special. I reversed image searched this photo, and I was able to find its origins. And this is what's called a sound dampening room. So this is a place where they test jet engines. Now this is one of the only jet engines that can go at high speeds, I think Mach 6. I can give you that information more specifically in a second, without breaking the barrier of sound, without making those loud sonic booms. And so this is essentially a much quieter jet engine. Now, recently there's been speculation about the Chinese government stealing the designs of the F-20s and making a knockoff, the J-20. Let's look a little more into this. We've got some backup information here. So the third picture here is when is Vault 7? It shows a jet engine testing room. So if you do the photo reverse, it was a photo taken in 2010 from the Langley Air Force military base in Virginia while running a test on the Pratt & Whitney F119 PW100 jet engine. This jet inspection looks for any objects that could damage blades inside the engines. The article that picture is talking. This is a soundproof hush, right? That are used for the engine testing. So these are called vaults. Okay, these rooms where they test the engines are referred to as vaults. So this is Vault 7. This is where the reference is. When is Vault 7? So this photo refers to a particular time in 2010. It's very interesting. So again, there's a lot of vault analogies being used here. So now we go up to here. Now, some people were reading into that. Some people were actually reading into the jet engines as a 9/11 conspiracy. And I don't think that's true. While it might be the case that the Nazi gold was underneath the World Trade Centers or was being stored underneath Building 7, there is certain information and a lot of things that correlate with that. It's not something I'm sure of by any means, but I am sure that this is a vault, and these vaults are used to test jet engines. And I am positive that this F119 engine is actually commonly used in all advanced military jets. This technology was not sold to the Chinese, or maybe it was. Maybe that's what these leaks are going to be about. Maybe we're going to find out that our military has actively been selling its most sophisticated military technologies on the black market to other militaries. Is that what we're going to find out? It might be suggesting something similar, guys. I wouldn't leave it out of the realm of possibilities. So we've got lots more WikiLeaks stuff going on here. And then here's our next post, which was on February 7th. Who is Vault7? So who is the vault? Who has the information? Now, when we click on this photo, these are almost bashing its infamous spies, an espionage series. Bradley Manning, 1987, born. In 2009, he was assigned to an army unit in Iraq as an intelligence analyst and had access to classified database. In 2010, he leaked this information to Wikileaks, right? Julian Assange, this speaks to him. So it says leaked the largest class of classifieds. That's Bradley Manning. Julian Assange, the hack behind Wikileaks. The hack, that's funny. And Edward Snowden spilled the beans and ran. Okay? Now, what's interesting about all three of these people is all three of these people that there's many people who leak information, but all three of these people specifically have worked in some entity for the military or government. And all of these three people were insiders who leaked classified information about wrongdoings of our military and government. And is this their way of telling us that the person, the Vault7, the who is Vault7, is an insider from the government? And is this their way of threatening the Hillary Clinton campaign and the other powers to be, saying, hey, listen, this insider, this Vault7 person, they are an insider. They worked for the government. They didn't steal anything. They didn't hack. They logged in, and they hit copy and paste. So this is very interesting. So these are all three insiders. Okay? So that's February 7th. Now they're going to keep going up here. And we're going to see why. Why is Vault7? Now this is a photo of some men doing some welding. Some sophisticated equipment being used. Now again, I wasn't familiar with this photo, so I did a quick image research, reverse lookup. And we were able to find that this is someone welding a box blade. Okay? This is the 5th tweet in the series. This was released on February 8th, and it read, why is Vault7? In the image appears to be someone welding something. A reverse image search reveals this to be an article posted by the Whiteman Air Force Base. The caption of the photo reads, Staff Sergeant Adam Boyd, 509th Civil Engineering Squadron, Structural Supervisor, welds a box blade for a snowplow. February 27th, Structures Airmen perform jobs such as this one to save Air Force from having to possibly spend money on parts made by civilian companies. This photo will likely feed more theories that the tweets are about 9/11. However, this article also talks about vault doors, briefly, and about how the government is spending its money. Interestingly, this is the second photo of this series that isn't explicitly of a vault. So, more importantly, I think they're referring to the location and the techniques, not specifically. So now, Wikileaks continued to do these posts, and people speculate on Reddit and a variety of other places. This is when it gets really interesting. How did Vault7 make its way to WikiLeaks? Now, this photo I was familiar with. This is very interesting. This is from World War II. What's happening here is this is a woman who is sending mail in a post box in Germany, and this mail is actually this woman has photos being taken. So upon doing a reverse image lookup of this photo, I found a series of photos that had been leaked that was referring to the Gestapo military complex stalking regular people. And these photos that were leaked, the Gestapo were taking photos of anyone that was dropping mail into mailboxes. Then later, they're in the photo series, you would see photos of plainclothes individuals who are obviously working with the military, opening up those boxes and going through those mail, sorting it, reading it, and then putting it back into the mailbox. It's very interesting stuff. So this is so what they're saying is they've got Vault7. They know all this information. So how did Vault7 make its way to WikiLeaks? Well, this photo can be found in several locations, including Open Society Foundations. The image is from the secret Stasi archive. It reads, when mailboxes were being observed by the Stasi agents, every person posting a letter was photographed. Some films found around the Stasi's archive also show persons dressed in civil clothing emptying mailboxes after the conclusion of each surveillance action. As part of a series, the Secret Service of the German Republic, this was the Stasi, was the Gestapo, it was the Ministry of State Security, which was the official state security service of the German Democratic Republic, East Germany. An interesting note, George Soros, the founder and chairman of Open Society Foundations, is also the source of this photo. This tweet seems to confirm that Vault7 refers to files which WikiLeaks has, rather than to a specific person. All these files are these files WikiLeaks plans to release? Has it yet to confirm exactly what Vault7 means? Now, there are quite a few theories circulating around. Obviously, these are insider information. It's been released. My personal feeling is there was a lot of political influence and sway from American governments to topple the Gaddafi region, and there was a lot of interesting military forces and very advanced, sophisticated military equipment being used. For example, the bombs that blew the wall open to the compound, that was a very advanced military jet that set that off, and they shot very expensive targeted missiles at that facility, and they blew the walls of the compound before those civilians basically entered the palace and looted and killed. But I feel like the American government knew where the $9 billion of hidden gold and all his silver and gold bars that he was storing. $9 billion Gaddafi was known to have. It all went missing. Nobody could find it afterwards. $9 billion friggin' dollars. Think about that. It's a lot of money. And we now know through the 650,000 email leaks from Hillary Clinton's server that Hillary Clinton was very interested in this. Let's break down some of the existing conspiracy theories that the fanfare has on places like Reddit. So, first one is the Clinton emails. One theory points out that the FBI recently released part 6 of 6 of Hillary Clinton's email investigation. Now, this is really interesting because of these last emails, there's actually been proven emails that have been deleted. This theory purposes that the tweets are a reference to deleted emails that the FBI will never be able to release. The FBI Vault releases on Clinton can be viewed here. These deleted emails would have theoretically been released as Vault7. Otherwise, I believe Wikileaks is hinting about a new Clinton email batch that they plan to release themselves. So I do feel there certainly is some Hillary Clinton undertones to a lot of this, but I don't know if it's... We've already confirmed that there's missing emails. The FBI has already confirmed that there's missing emails. Something we've already confirmed based on the other existing leaks. So they know that they did screw with the... There was at least 3 emails that people have confirmed have been deleted. Let's just say they're very topical. There's reasons they were deleted. It wasn't a mistake. There's also the 9/11 conspiracies. So others are holding a theory that these tweets are about the upcoming 9/11 leak. Right? So a lot of people are in the belief that the truth will come out. Now that Trump is in power, they feel that Trump is going to allow the information to be leaked. So the third tweet is that the F119 and these theorists point that it's 911 backwards. It also makes a reference to Building 7, Vault 7, which has been the source of many 9/11 conspiracies, including that the theory there was a vault of gold beneath this building. So it's actually Building 6 that was supposed to have the gold vault. Seems like a bit of a stretch, since WikiLeaks has not made any indications of upcoming 9/11 leaks. But more likely, is explanation that the photos were chosen because the jet engine was in a test room called a vault. The 5th tweet features a photo of someone welding, which is also believed to reference the conspiracy theory about an angled cut on the World Trade Center beam. The box plate he's welding, some say, might also be a reference to butt cutters used on 9/11. I'm not going to really buy into the 9/11 one as much. Now, this one's interesting. Government spending on military involvement. A new theory derived from the 5th tweet is that WikiLeaks is going to release something related to government spending on military projects. It's a reference to the Whiteman Air Force Base, which talked about the government spending. In addition, the host unit for the airbase, which is the 509 Bombed Wing. Now, this operates the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Now, Whiteman is the only permitted base for the B-2s and the B-2 bombers, and they were used in Afghanistan. And these bombers were almost exclusively used for all bombings since 2011. And prior to that, since 2001 to 2011, which is very interesting. These are very active military budget-funded groups that are actively engaged in wartime engagements, even through peacetime. Something interesting. So there's more theories about the number 7. Others were taking this event farther, finding that any connection they can to the number 7. Some say that it might be a reference to the next max extinction following the 6th, which science says we're already in the middle of. Some say it's connected to the sea vault, showing that we're all in danger of dying. There's also a shadow government theory connected to a number 7. They reported in October that the new FBI releases featured claims that shadow government composed of high-ranking state officials who some refer to as the 7th floor group. There's also a theory that this could somehow be connected to George Soros, as the last tweet in the series featured a photo from Open Society Foundations, which he founded. So, the follow game has many numbered vaults, including a Vaults 9. It describes Vault Tech where before the Great War. Yeah. Now, there's been more tweets coming, which we'll look at quickly here. So, they've been generally talking about normal political issues around the world. So here's some... Whoa.
These are 11 of the craziest discoveries from WikiLeaks.
Oh, that's just it. They're sharing some of the WikiLeaks videos. Obama lost the election and a chance for change 8 years ago. So we're not seeing anything more related to specifically that. President Canada who says he will expect Assange to win in WikiLeaks. No, see this, nothing yet, but we're still waiting, guys. It's been a few days since they've even tweeted. You know, so, or tweeted about this stuff. So I think I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. I want to hear what you think in the comments. I want to hear what speculations you can make out of this. I know this is very interesting. I know I'm unloading a lot. Between all the Pizzagate stuff that's about to happen, between all the other things that are about to change, the government switchovers, the change in the political house, a lot of the draining of the swamp, supposedly. I think the FBI will embrace this new relationship with Trump, and they'll use this to tackle certain issues that they've been made to avoid. So, thank you guys. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. This is Alex, the Good Guy Biker from Motorcycles Vancouver, saying, stay thirsty and stay interested.